and I've learned that the key to success is a strong mindset. But how do you build that strong mindset? Well, that's where we come in.
Absolutely, Mary. I'm Camille Jones, finance expert turned wellness enthusiast. We believe in making wellness accessible, diverse, and with simple, actionable steps that you can incorporate into your busy lifestyle today. Together, we've launched a live weekly video series on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, all about the wellness for busy women in business. Each week, we'll dive deep into all aspects of wellness, mental, physical, relationship, and of course, business. We'll be there to guide you step by step towards achieving a stronger mindset, setting your boundaries, and prioritizing what matters to you the most.
And don't worry, we're not just going to be throwing information at you. We're here to reduce the overwhelm and make wellness simple, and to help you focus on what matters most.
So are you ready to transform your lunch break into a wellness journey? Then join us every Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We can't wait to see you there.
Hey, Mary. We're back for another edition of the Wellness for Busy Women in Business. Super cool. I realize I'm wearing the same jacket as the intro. That means that we're coming back in full effect, even in what we were before. So I'm super excited to be here. My name is Camille Jones, and it is your weekly busy women in business, wellness for the busy women in business. That was a little bit of a tongue twister right there. So we're super excited to be back. We were away just getting our kiddies ready for school in the last minutes of those summer dog days, but now it's back to business. It's back to getting into our wellness, which we never stopped, but there was power in that pause. Gonna hand the mic over to my co-host here, Miss Mary Massey, to introduce herself and get this conversation rolling.
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everybody. My name is Mary Massey. I'm a personal growth strategist, and I'm also a social media coach. I'm here in New Jersey, and we've had quite a few weeks of all these things happening at the same time, between the travel, between all the demands of life, the demands of business, the demands of summer. So now it's nice actually to be able to get back to our normal routines. And that means also getting back into your wellness, into your fitness, into your nutrition. So for those of you who haven't seen the other videos in our series, I highly encourage you to either contact me or Camille, and we can send you the direct videos, the direct links to the videos, so that you can catch up, because this is a great series that we put a lot of work and effort into, and it actually works in a progressive way, so that once you get past video 1 and you put it into practice, and you move on to video 2, and so on and so forth. So today we're going to be talking about integrating fitness into our busy schedules. So I'm looking forward to this conversation, Camille.
Absolutely. And what a great conversation to start our return to the busy wellness for the busy women in business, is getting back into that routine, fitting in. When I say fitting in, it's actually, we start off with saying it's fitting in, but what we do is we create the habit where it's a part of your lifestyle. But as we know, summer happens, vacations happen. How do we integrate our wellness back into our lifestyle where we just don't feel like there's so much time? Oh, you know what? I was good before, but I'm not. That's a limiting belief that we're already starting ourselves up with. So we are here today. I like to call September as the second New Year's of the year, because this is when people get off of the summer hiatus and get back to business for that last Q3, Q4. But as we're building up into our business and wanting to end this year on a strong high, we also need to remember that strong high needs to be incorporated with our personal wellness, because the best that we want to be in our business is how we are productively, how we show up in our presence, in our energy, and as well as having that clarity in our mindset. And it truly does start off within. So Mary and I, in this conversation today, is all about getting back into the routine of your fitness, working it into your busy schedule, how you can actually incrementally put these wellness practices back into place if you have, kind of lost your way. But before we get into that, before I pass it over to Mary, I'd love to know whether you're on a replay or listening live, Where are you tuning in from? Are you just getting back into the swing of things after summer, or do you already have a pace going? Be free to feel free to use the chat. Any questions, any comments? Definitely, we want to hear you. This is an interactive conversation, so let's get it going. I love to start off with Mary with this conversation. Reason being is Mary is seasoned like some nice West Indian food, like some Caribbean food, so you know that good seasoning in this industry. So she's went through many of full moon transitions in our wellness. And how have you been able to, in all these years that you've been in it, been able to get back on track when that life puts you a little bit of a sway?
Yeah, well, let me tell you something, Camille. When I got into fitness, it was 2007. I was very depressed. My dad had passed away, and he was all I had left. We lost our mom very young. So I found Zumba first. Before that, I would say that I enjoyed fitness because I was into Turbo Kick. I don't know if you remember doing the whole Turbo Kick, Tae Bo, the videos, and I would run. So I was athletic to a certain extent, but not really. It wasn't part of my lifestyle. It didn't really become part of my lifestyle until I found Zumba, and that became my therapy, and it became like something that I would crave. And then that led me to look into personal training. I became a personal trainer. That led me to look into nutrition. I became a nutritionist. And when I saw that there was a bigger need for more mindset coaching and mindset commitment, I looked into life coaching, which helped me tremendously and also helped my clients, because at the root of it all is that lifestyle and that mindset that we incorporate into every aspect of our lives from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed. So fitness to some of us is a way of life. It's almost like if you skip a workout, for example, on Sundays, I'll tell you this, I've said this to a lot of people. I don't go to the gym usually on Sundays. I still teach classes. I still personal train. I'm at the gym at least 6 times a week, sometimes twice a day in the day, depending on what the day is. So on Sundays, I almost feel like, oh man, it's almost, I feel like almost like you forgot to brush your teeth. Maybe like you're rushed and you leave the bedroom and you go do whatever you need to do. And you're like, oh crap, I had breakfast. I forgot to brush my teeth. That's how it feels to me when I don't work out. And it's become so ingrained in me. I love it. I thoroughly enjoy it. But like I said before, it becomes part of you. And these habits that you incorporate become part of your life, like brushing your teeth, like making sure that you are drinking water, like making sure that you are spending time with the people, the good people around you. Like all of these things really become so ingrained. But for a lot of people, you have to start somewhere. You have to start with first what it is that you enjoy doing so that you make that an integral part of your everyday life.
Yeah, and I love that. It's so true. Is that when we actually love what we do and we are reaping the rewards of the feeling it gets, it becomes a drug, but a good drug, a drug that you absolutely yearn for. And this is where I know a lot of us want to get to. It's like having muscle memory. That's what actually really got me excited. Once I understood the science behind muscle memory, I was like, I got this. I'm not losing that memory, not for anything, not for my age, not for my kids, not for my hormones, not for my stress. I love the fact that I've built up such a regime in my habits that even though when I take my 2 weeks off on vacation, do I work out every time? Not all the time. I'll be honest. I'll admit it. I don't. But I also have the reassurance and the habit of knowing that my muscles will have that memory where I'll get back on track and I'll already see those results that people wait 6 months for. I'll get a lot faster because it's not like as if I've completely went to the wayside. But in saying that, I'm going to flip it on the flip side of somebody who is just starting out in their fitness journey and, may have started out in January, have been doing well, and then summer hits and some of those old habits, they come lingering back. Don't blame yourself. You have to remember a lot of these habits that come lingering back, we've festered in ourselves in 10, 15, 20 years. So for us to really think it's going to be completely eradicated within 6 months, we're not giving ourselves grace. So for myself, how I got back into it, so I'm 5 years into this industry, and how I got myself back into routines and regimes is by doing things in very, very small incremental steps. Like for instance, I'm reading the 5 a.m. Club book right now. I'm at 6:15. Yes. So what I mean by that is my goal is to be waking up every day at 5 a.m. But me coming out the gate saying I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, I made the first 2 or 3 days, just like you go to the gym for that first week, and then the weekend happens, and then you forget about it, and then you go back to your bad habits. So what I do is I go on those incremental steps and I celebrate it. Yes, I'm not at 5 o'clock right now, but I'm only on day 4 and I'm at 6:15. Last week I was at 8:02. So it's all about celebrating those parts. And for myself, getting back into a routine step by step, I progressively went back into it. And that's how I was able to build up and maintain the habits that I have now. So just somebody that's just starting out.
Are you going to bed earlier too, Camille?
Girl, you know what? I always say they should incorporate nap time for parents or bedtimes. Yes. So another thing too, since I've been back on my routine, since I've been even not even trying, I am readjusting habits. I'm finding myself sleeping better. My skin is looking even more amazing.
Good.
And the biggest part and aspect is my productivity. I didn't think about it. You know, when I started in the wellness, I was thinking about, my mindset and my body. My mindset and my body. That's the things I was looking at. But what I found out is when I do not look into my wellness or I put it on the wayside, what happens is my productivity goes out the hyenas. And that's because I'm eating poorly. So I'm staying up. The cravings are there.
Right.
I'm not drinking enough water. It slugs my whole mind and energy. That was a great question, Mary.
Yeah, and the reason why I ask is because yes, getting up early is wonderful, but not if you're sacrificing your sleep, because you still need that recovery time. You still need your hormones to come back to homeostasis to achieve that balance. So it really makes no sense for us women to get 4 hours of sleep just to say we got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So for me, like I have a hard time getting up early because sometimes I go to bed late. I'm working on something, and sleep for me is something I don't sacrifice. So while you ladies are getting up at 5 in the morning, my alarm is set for 8 a.m. because I know I go to bed later. Now, if I were in a situation where I had a whole wing to myself in the house and I could just close the door and nobody would bother me, then I would go to bed early and I would wake up early. But I am also super realistic. I understand that the dogs need to go out. The kids are still doing their thing. My husband's doing his thing. So I can't go to bed early. There's no way. I could, and I'll just lay there and get woken up 5 times when I fall asleep. So I'd rather just wait until everything is set and then, get my at least 8 hours of rest.
Yeah. And you hit a good point. I love that you mentioned that, Mary, because the whole theory for me of the 5 a.m. club, and that's why I said incremental steps. I'm with you too. We know and understand the value of sleep. It's about restoring our bodies. My husband battles diabetes, and he's able to conquer it in every aspect, except he always says sleeping is for the employed. And I keep on saying sleep is for the empowered. And every time he wouldn't get his sleep, he'd fall off or he'd get really sick. So for myself, the 5 a.m. rule is not even just, club is not about the actual time, but it's also about me getting my sleep. I actually have now decided I shut off the entire world, and the kids are now back on a routine for myself, where I intentionally go to bed earlier because I need to. Because what happens for myself, we're married, and this is about self-awareness, and this is why we're talking about this, because we want you to understand there's no right way or wrong way. It's what works for you, but it's about through that awareness. Mary is a beast at nighttime. Like, she's so creative. Sometimes she'll pop up with something. I'm like, wow, at 12 o'clock at night, where I'm thinking of, I wonder if in China it's raining. So for myself, as the night goes on, my level of consciousness of clarity is like going out the window. So I'm like, instead of me wondering about things that are irrelevant in my now, let me find myself to sleep, because I am the most productive in the morning. Like, what I've done between now and 6:15 and now is like, I'm so proud of myself. But I love that Mary said that. That's a part of integrating our fitness into our busy life schedule, is integrating our sleep. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, and naps too are very important. There are times when I don't have a good night's sleep or something happens, or sometimes, no lie, I have 2 dogs here, and every once in a while, one of them tries to go downstairs at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, and we have to get up, and it's a sleep disruptor. Yes. And this is why for me, sleep is super important. And because I do teach classes still in person, I give my 200%. My energy is always through the roof. I give so much. I have to make sure I'm taking that time. And I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to do that. I can just go lie down for 15 minutes if I need to, take a quick power nap, and then get up and I'm ready to go. But yeah, Camille is right. I'm a night owl. I have always been a night owl. My creativity comes when it's super, super quiet. During the day, yeah, I got a lot of stuff done today already, especially Mom Link work that I had to do. But these are things that I already knew that I had to do. It didn't really require a bunch of creative juices to flow. You know what I mean? But with other things, I really do need that quiet and understanding ourselves, being fully aware of when we're most energetic, when we are most creative, energetic physically, I mean, because sometimes when we're talking about integrating these fitness rituals into our day, we have to understand when it is that we have the time and how it is that we feel. And if we're not feeling up for it when we have that time, we have to generate ways of creating our own energy. And that's something that we can also discuss. So for those of you who are watching, like, when do you work out? Do you ever work out? Do you feel like there's not enough time to do this? Are you tired, sluggish throughout the day? And this is why we had those other topics before that we went over, to get you to the point now where you can start moving, because now you have your mindset in check. You have your nutrition in check. We talked about that too last time. And now it's time to put it all into action.
Yeah, and I love that there's power in these discussions, because wellness is greater than fitness. I'm going to sneeze, sorry. That was a cough sneeze.
Bless you.
Piece of my head flew into my throat there. But what I love is, one second.
Oh, wait, where did Camille go? All right, there she goes. Bless you.
You know, my throat just didn't want me to be great anymore, but
No, I get it. Take a deep breath. Yeah. It's okay, because my husband's tried calling me at the same time. I'm texting him. I'm like, I'm live right now, buddy. You know, give me a moment.
Real life, people, real life. But this is the whole point of this series, is building up that self-awareness, because Mary is so right. A lot of times when we're thinking about our wellness and fitness, we're like, okay, I'm going to go first thing before I go to work. I'm going to go because you're seeing everybody else doing it. Or I'm going to go right after work, because I know when I used to work corporate, they used to give us these good life packages and encourage us to go at lunchtime or after work. So I was just following suit until I realized that when I went at lunchtime, I just wanted to sleep. The nighttime, I was jitterbugs. I was up. So I needed to work into my lifestyle, what worked for me, and looking at those times. And that even goes for myself. After my third child, my hormones, when it comes to my monthly, my beautiful friend that wished she would just go somewhere, that comes every month, I have a whole different regime for my workouts depending on where I am in my lunar month. Because I know that if I think I'm going to go and have this strength training going on during my bloated times, how successful am I going to be?
Right.
I'm even going to do it. Right. So I'm already setting myself up for failure. But if I'm already aware of that by understanding my lifestyle, instead, I'm not going to omit the strength training. Instead of me actually doing it with my weights, I may do it in a more practical way. Like I'll do it with my body weight, which is when I'm doing my laundry. I always have to squat and press. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not in the mood to do a full 30, 45-minute strength training, because I'm not going to be as productive and successful as I know it will be next week when my body's feeling better in the sense of that strength. So I'm going to substitute it without excluding it. And how easy it is to squat up the stairs or to do it in with my laundry. I still feel like I know I got some work done and I didn't put it on the wayside. So when next week comes, I'll be like, oh, well, I already forgot about last week. So what's another week, right? That's what our mind will tell us. So let's omit that. Yes. And Melanie, I'm with Mary too. As I said at the beginning of this live, I really wholeheartedly believe that every government in the entire world should give adults a 1 hour lunch and 1 hour nap time. There should be a nap like with little cots for all of us.
Well, that's what they do in China, actually.
It's smart. I know that.
Shut down. They in other countries in Europe, they also shut down. But we're also in that culture of constantly hustling. The harder you work, it's almost like you wear it like a badge of honor. And it's a little bit sad because we're letting all the important things fall to the side our own wellness. My dad worked himself to death, basically. He kept putting off his heart surgery, and before you knew it, he had his last heart attack, and that was it. I would much rather not have all the things and have him. And we have to think about that as well, you know, especially as women, because with us, between the hormone situation that we have going on, the pains that come because of perimenopause, if we're not fully aware, we're not educating ourselves, we begin to change in so many different ways. Our workouts may not be as effective as they used to be anymore. So we need to really understand all of these things. The depression is going to seep in, the anxiety is going to seep in. So what are we doing to make sure that we are really, I mean, let's be honest, ladies, like time doesn't stop for anybody.
Nope.
So you can have the life that you truly want and deserve, or you can just be like everybody else, overtired, overworked, unfulfilled, and completely out of shape, right? You look in the mirror, you can't find anything that looks nice on you. And this is something that I tell my own clients. So how much longer do you want to continue to live like that, unless you're super comfortable living in that space, as opposed to making one little change? And what does that one little change mean for you? What can you do differently today than you did yesterday to get you to where you'd like to be, to get you started on that journey? Because let me tell you, the journey is not easy, but it's very, very simple. And all you need to do is just decide that this is the day when I'm going to do one thing, whether it's drink more water, whether it's drink one less cup of coffee or one less cup of, you know, whatever, soda, or eat one less donut, or maybe get up and walk every half an hour as opposed to just sitting at your desk for hours and hours on end. So it's really, and I'm just saying this, Camille, because I see it all the time. I see a lot of women who are just so unhappy with the way they look, which affects the way that they feel. Why? You know, you get so used to the pain of being that way that anything different causes you a certain amount of pain. But which pain is bigger, the pain of continuing to be where you are, or the pain of change that's going to bring you fulfillment and joy? Just had to say that.
Exactly. And, you know, I did a poll yesterday on LinkedIn. I was like, I'm going to keep it real. I'm tired of the fluff. I'm just going to ask you straight up. Why are you not just like, it was in a format as such as, why are you not taking note of your wellness? What's holding you back? Is it motivation? Is it money? Is it other, or lack of knowledge? The biggest response I got was the other, and the other comes from us saying, oh, we have this that we need. We have our children to take care of. We have our businesses. We have our dogs. We have this, that. You know, it's Mother Nature. It's called Mother Nature for a reason. We are mothers and we're nurturers by nature. But in saying that, we not intentionally tend to neglect ourselves until, the SHIT hits the fan, until our health parks us down. So what we do here in our industry is not just about the fitness and the nutrition, but it's about the lifestyle. It's about building not only the longevity, but who wants to live until they're 80 and they can't even move? Or do you want to live in a way where you're enjoying every moment? You're able to move that body. And we have to stop waiting for that peril to be in front of us as a time to take action. We take action as we are going on in life. As I said, we're always so busy about our businesses and our children and our relationships. But if we are not nurturing and pouring into ourselves, what's going to happen is our energy is going to go down, the confidence. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, confidence is key. How you walk and talk will move mountains a lot more than how you see. And well, I guess you still got to breathe, but you know what I mean? So I love that we're taught that the whole point of integrating your fitness into your busy schedule is not think of it as a part of your schedule, but actually embedding it into who you are. Just as Mary said, on Sundays, she feels like she may have left the baby at somebody else's door because she's missing that one habit that she enjoys, that fulfills her, that gives her that peace. And again, the confidence. It's beautiful.
But that's the thing too, Camille, that it allows us to feel a certain way. So we're better for everybody around us. It's not just this selfish thing. Oh, there she goes again, spending 3 hours at the gym. It's not about that. It's about the feeling that we get, because like we said before, stress is going to be around. It's always going to be available. All of these things are going to happen. So we need to find an outlet. We need to find a way for us to nurture our minds and also keep our bodies strong. There's a show actually that I was watching on Netflix. It's called How to Live to 100,
It's 100.
right? And what
Okay.
an amazing show,
Yes.
because where I come from, people don't do that. People don't spend that time walking around. They do it maybe because they have to, but they don't do it as a way of keeping themselves active and healthy. So I've been telling everybody that I talk to about that show, just watch it, look at what these people are doing, and decide whether or not you want to live and age well. Because yeah, okay, we can be 60,
Right.
70, 80 and completely unable to move and having to depend on a bunch of other people. Like my mother-in-law had a stroke. She actually had a few. She never enjoyed working out, never liked going to the gym. She would get on the treadmill and go at a snail pace. So what happens is your body just is so weak. You have all this mass on you and it's fluff. And then when you fall, you can't get up. So what happens is you end up having to depend on everybody else to take care of you. And it's become a matter of urgency, and it's an epidemic. It's not just to look good, to flex your muscles, or to look good in a tank top. It's not about that anymore. It's about how you're living and what kind of impact you're having in the lives of your children and what kind of lives they're going to live. And also, how long are they going to be able to have you healthy and strong?
And that part, because we have to remember something. When we're unhealthy, yes, we're present, but remember, we want to love our life, and we're not trying to add burden to other people, right? So if we are so dependent on our children, remember that lifestyle that we kept on saying we want our kids to live free and experience life. But if we are selfish with our wellness, we're going to park that whole ambitious goal that you had for your child. If they feel like they have to be that caregiver. And I want to say I love that show. I'm on 3 of the 5 of the blue dots of where he's been going. And one of two common trends out of all the areas that he's been going through is really hitting like how driving hard with me. The first one is everyone that's living to 100 and beyond. What is processed food? Everything they eat is truly from the ground. It's phenomenal. And the second one, regardless of their age, they're moving their body, not just saying, "Oh, I'm older now, so I'm not going to bend down. You're young. Go pick that up for me." Instead, they are picking it up. They're sitting down on the ground with the kids. They're participating. They're constantly moving their body. And what I mean by that is just not showing you that the power of movement. Yes, you could do it in the gym and that excessive because we want to get that workout. But if you don't have that accessibility, does not mean you cannot move your body. And that's what that just opened up I was just like, Chris, are you seeing this? Everybody walks, everybody bends down. They're moving their body and gardening, even as much as gardening is. I don't know about you. Well, I should know about Miss Plant, crazy plant lady over here. I know when I get into my plants and stuff, by the end of the day, my arms, I feel like I've got a full workout on it. And that just shows me more appreciation, gratitude for the life that I live, that I get to have the opportunities to pour love into my garden. And while I'm pouring love into my garden, I'm pouring love into my body by moving it. So we are collectively between my garden, which is life, and my body, that is life, working in unison in the universe. So that's how I look at certain things. So I love that you've been watching that too. I've just been like, I'm like, Chris, we're moving to Costa Rica.
I'm going to Costa Rica in a couple of weeks, actually.
So Mary, please tell us about your retreat that's coming up. I know you have a workbook, and then I'll tell everybody about us. But again, I want our audience to really hound down. Yes, Mary and I are certified personal trainers, and we love the fitness part. But the part that we love to give to our clients is building up those lifestyle habits, building up so much inside of you that it shines on the external. So Mary has an amazing retreat that's all about that relaxing reset, but also being conditioned so that you could build a greater lifestyle even after that retreat. So Mary, please tell us about it.
Yes, absolutely. So the registration is closed now, but hopefully you'll join the next one, because what I like to do is I like to take people out of the environment that they're in so that I can begin to build them up little by little. We focus on a lot of the lifestyle and mindset blocks that we might be experiencing the stress about life and all of these things. And then we come up with all the different tools that you need in order to come back feeling more relaxed, feeling more at peace, and not letting anything get to you anymore. Because the thing is that everybody has a trigger. It's all about the triggers these days, but how do you deal with all of that? How do you deal with the external circumstances? So that, coupled with the amount of fun that we're going to have, all the great food, the excursions, just time together, learning from everybody around you. So it becomes a really, really beautiful experience. It's not just a retreat. I call it a luxury wellness experience, really. So I love it. I can't wait to take my ladies with me and to have them experience this beautiful country of Costa Rica. And it's the other thing too, Camille, that I wanted to mention was that I said to my people at the gym, because I've been with some of these people for 14 years. They've been following me all over. They've been with me at that one specific location where I teach for all these years. And I said to them, look at everything that we are doing now. It may not be enough, because what we do is we drive to the gym, right? We drive to the gym, and that's the only time when we're exercising. But what about when we're home? Are we going for walks? And that's something that I need to incorporate more of in my own lifestyle. So watching that show really did open my eyes, because there's always something new to learn. There's always something that other people are doing that will inspire you. So just keep your eyes open for that. And if you have the type of mindset that is for growth, that growth mindset, you're always going to learn, you're always going to grow, and you're always going to be better. So one thing that I do in terms of that is I have people journal, and journaling is something that is very foreign to a lot of people. Like, okay, where do I start? I have this blank notebook. What do I do with it? I have this workbook. It's called workbook.marymassey.com is actually the link for it. You can download that, and it has all the prompts that you need. And I call this the Life Design Workbook. So what would your life be like if you actually got to design it without any of the current circumstances in the way? How would that look to you? What are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself in order to get to where you need to be? So I've already put in 30 amazing questions, and I believe that there's a bonus also that comes after that in the emails that I send you, where you can just go on there, you download the PDF, you read the question, and you answer it in your journal. And it's also progressional. So you get to the second one after you get through the first one, and so on and so forth. So these are a couple of things that you can do to help yourself if you are ready to take that micro step in the right direction. You don't have to go away with me. You don't have to work out with me. You don't have to work out with Camille, but you can at least say to yourself, you know what? This is something that I can do. It's a micro step. I'm comfortable with this. So let's go in that direction.
And it's free of charge, because Mary is not about just wellness, is not just about making the profits and stuff. That comes. We understand that, because we understand the power of law of attraction and doing the work. But it's also holding you accountable to all of that's possible. But a lot of us don't even realize what's possible until we actually start doing the work. So I love that you're offering this as an offering for others to build up their self-awareness. And I also, so you'll see the links on to get Mary's workbook, along with my self-care, Power of Self-Care, Let It Flow workbook, ebook. You'll see the links for it underneath the comments of this video. And if you don't see it here and you're looking at the replay, definitely you could slide into Mary and my messages and get our links. So I also have a link for my, what I call the Power of Self-Care and Self-Love and Letting It Flow. A lot of us look at self-care and self-love as just going and get your nails and your hair done. But in actuality, there's so much more to self-care and self-love that is a stepping stone of building up that self-awareness, that builds up that stepping stone of you wanting to take that action. And most importantly, builds up the understanding that we must incorporate every feeling that we have and understand how it makes us feel, so we can better navigate it in this physical world and take these actions. Because there's so many times that we are neglecting our self-care and our self-love so much that we don't even see that our emotions are just put to the side. And when we get triggered, we may go off the Richter scale. We may have that anxiety feeling. Some flashbacks of childhood trauma may come and be reborn. All because we never took that time out to get that self-care and self-love understanding that goes deeper than physical. So to have access to that ebook, it's on my link underneath this underneath these videos, as well as if you don't see it there, you could feel free to Follow me on Instagram at We Got This Mind and Body, and you can DM me. I'll be sure to give it to you. But one thing that but both Mary and myself do not want you to do is nothing. We have volunteered our time here in the name of wellness, in the name of empowering our fellow women so that we can all live to 100 and truly get to enjoy our lives. Yes, we're nurturing and nourishing everyone else, but we matter the most. And it's time that we truly take advantage of that. And the only way that we can do that is by taking that action. So these are free, no charge, what have you. The only thing is going to cost you is time to click it. So go and you'll see Mary's workbook, workbook.marymassey.com, or you can go and get my Let It Flow, Power of Self-Love and Self-Care. The link is underneath the video, or it can be messaged to you. But don't do nothing. That's the only thing we don't want you to do. We want your greatness lies within, right, Mary? If we don't say this stuff for you to do, say, oh, that was interesting. Now back onto my mundane life or habits. No.
Yeah, it's the question that you have to ask yourself. How much longer am I willing to go on this way? Am I truly fulfilled and happy with my life today as it is?
Yes.
How do I see myself? Do I love myself? Do I look at myself in the mirror and smile? So these are very important questions to ask yourself because, yes, like I said before, change is tough. It is. And we have to acknowledge that. It's not for everybody. This is why the majority of people are continuing to live a life that they are not happy with.
Right.
If you're okay with that, then okay, you go on with it, but never complain about your circumstance. Yes. You accept it. You have chosen to be this way. Say, I choose to be this way. So I'm not going to make that change. Or I choose to make a change today so that I can feel better and be an inspiration to my family.
Exactly. I love that. It's those questions, those hard questions. And there are even hard questions. There's self-awareness questions. Because if you don't ask these questions to yourself, you have to remember something. Your inner me could be your biggest enemy. That's when those self-sabotaging thoughts, that's when those limiting beliefs come into play. And if we think that we could just eradicate it by doing lose weight in 30 days kind of program or something that's a quick fix, well, I'll tell you something. Even in my wellness journey, there's times I get the bump, but I also now am aware of what I need to go to I go around it faster. Life happens. Hormones happen. Our body's constantly being adjusted and readjusted. But if we are constantly focused on everybody else's health and well-being and neglecting ours, again, don't wait for that phone call where your own health parks you. Don't even wait for that. Phone call's not going to happen. Take the action.
Yeah. And what you said right there too, Camille, is important because we see it all the time. We see all of these fat burners, the what do you call those things? The waist trainers. Oh my gosh. Like I cringe because I always see so many comments under those types of posts. People want the easy fix, but they don't want to change their lifestyle. Don't be that way. Please don't be that way because you deserve a lot better than that. You deserve an actual great life. Losing weight the healthy way is 1 to 2 pounds a week. Yes. So if you say to yourself, you know what, I have to lose 20 pounds, you can calculate from there. But I promise you that when you make that step, it's going to turn into something completely different because sometimes you might want to train just to do a 5K, but people end up doing triathlons. I mean, I've seen it over the years, time and time again. I've seen people have the weight loss surgery and put on the weight. Yep. I've seen people get the tummy tuck and put on the weight. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay. I think my camera died, but I've also seen people do both and completely change their lives. So which one are you going to be? You know, the difference there was that they wanted to change their life, not just their appearance.
That part. And you know what? That's why we have to stop just focusing on social media and what we're seeing with our eyes and really start being guided by our feelings. Our inner selves is our biggest GPS. And when we get that feeling of peace, strength, and confidence, it becomes a drug, and it's a good drug. But if we're only focused on the external, like for myself, I love my supplements. I love, every now and then I'll do like a cleanse. But I do not, and I will refuse to even encourage to anybody who is not doing any of that stuff without doing the work, because there's no such thing as a quick fix. You could take as much as you want of supplements or what have you, and maybe lose the weight for a certain period of time. But if you have not done the work, just like Mary said, two of my friends have done tummy tucks, right? A few of my friends have done it, and they look great because they're working out, they're doing their maintenance. They do it for other their reasons, and mwah, they look fantastic, and they look fantastic because of the extra work they're doing, so they can maintain the life change that they've done. But I have two friends who was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just gonna just nip, tuck, and done. And I'll tell you something, you gain weight. And the worst part about it is that you don't gain weight where you got the tuck. You gain weight in odd, weird areas, right? So let's remember that if you're doing any of that stuff, you're doing it for your internal love, your internal balance, and you also does not mean that you stop neglecting your body or your internal at all. And you're not going to be replacing it with a quick fix. If you do a cleanse, if you do a detox, if you do your supplements, you do them, but in a program, in a system. And that's what, again, I love to reiterate over and over again during these segments, that Mary and I are greater than just personal trainers. Yes, you see us working out on our socials. Yes, you see Mary's amazing. Like, Mary, honestly, I'm so excited to be doing this Zumba thing with you in New Jersey. I'm a little nervous and excited at the same time, because the way how Mary just channels her inner Latina and she just brings it in, but how she does it is so inclusive, like and gets the whole crowd is just going. So I'm super excited about having that opportunity. But we're greater than just that. We're all about building up that lifestyle, because we want to teach our next generation even better, and then their generation even better. Like, I have a huge struggle. I'll be honest with you. I have a huge struggle with my daughter. My son, my older son, I tell you, if all else fails, I always tell him he'll be a Kevin Kline underwear model. The man he's obsessed with the kinesiology of his body, his like muscle. He eats well. He goes on random. Like, Mary, you would love him. You'd love him. He's 10 times like, just loves, but not for anything, but he just loves how it makes him feel so good on the inside. He craves it. Now, my daughter, she's just as active, and she doesn't even eat that bad. She doesn't. She does have her little kid tendencies, but she doesn't have that motivation as much to move the body as much, and what on times where the camera is off, or for her own self well-being. So does that mean that because I'm a wellness coach, I'm gonna be like, you know what? No way. No. It is me seeing what works for her and incorporating it in her lifestyle. And now she loves soccer. Is she fantastic at it? But she's moving. And you should see me. I am the biggest fan. So I'm telling you, to any parent that struggles with their child when it comes to nutrition and fitness, I have 3 kids. I struggle with one of them hard on it. And the way, any celebration that you can, or that they like, encourage it. Because that's what I do. You should see, she's first one at soccer. She's panting and everything, but she goes to the end, and I wave her on. So celebrate them, find ways to incorporate in their lifestyle that makes it fun for them, and then reduce that processed food. Reduce the processed food, and take note of if you have any, like my husband has diabetes in his. But I don't think it follows just your DNA, but it's still kind of, you still follow.
Yeah, it can be reversed. I think, Camille, you need to listen to the podcast episode. My latest podcast episode was actually with Dr. Catherine Tapper, who is a holistic coach now also. She's a medical doctor, and she has been able to reverse diabetes in her patients. It's reversible through diet.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't realize it.
Yes. So I'll be honest with you. Chris has had diabetes now for about 11 years. He finally listened to me, at the beginning of the year, and changed all of his diet. When we went back, he actually got off of a few of his medications while doing that diet, which was fantastic, because there was a medication that was brittling his bones, making him have hair loss. And we changed the whole diet. I mean, a whole regime worked. He doesn't, even when he got his A1C, his last 2 A1Cs have been 7. Before it used to be like 17. But as I was saying, you're right. So we would get the link down and let everybody know about that podcast with you and Dr. Kathleen.
Catherine, yeah. Hmm.
Because it's very important. But I'm going to add this one part that Mary said at the beginning, where Chris is failing, is in that sleep. So even when you have your nutrition, get that sleep in there too as well. But all in all, I love these. We have some messages. I mean, some comments in here, but the whole power of these conversations that we have are to be raw, to be authentic, but again, to encourage you to take the action. We're even handing you tools to take this action. You have, go ahead, Mary.
Oh yeah, so I would love to know where everybody is with their mindset too, because that's like the main component with everything, because it can be scary. You know, I have friends who are in great shape, they've made it their lifestyle, and their spouses are not there. They're not there. Like even my own husband, you know, he's had me as a wife for 21 plus years, and most of those years have been me in fitness, changing people's lives. And even he falls off sometimes, and he's lucky that he's slim, but he doesn't exercise as often as he should, you know. So there are all of these things that really, and for him it's like, oh, I don't have time to do this, and I don't have time to do that. I don't want to work out in the morning. At nighttime it's hard. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you know, after a while, you just continue to do what you're doing because you know what's important. My kids, they love it. They actually like to work out. My son is in soccer. My daughter goes to spin classes. She goes to HIIT classes with me. She lives with me. So as I know I'm doing the right thing with them, I'm responsible for them. I'm not responsible for him. And like, ladies, you're not responsible for your spouse. I'm going to tell you that right now. So you can give them all the tools and cook all the great meals for them. At the end of the day, if they want to, if they choose to not do the things that are going to benefit them, you have to take a step back and say, okay, that's your life, buddy. Make sure you continue to pay that life insurance premium.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't mess around. I tell my friends the same thing, like, okay, you did your thing. You know, you continue to do what you're doing. You take care of you. You take care of your kids. If they choose to be that way, it's on them. And again, if you also choose to be that way, it's on you. So what are you choosing to do? And I know this has turned into like a completely different, you know, situation, but it's important because when you make these choices and you know what's important to you, you know how to eat well, even if you're not eating well 100% of the time. Who does that? I don't do that.
I saw your post with your funnel. I was like, yes, Mary.
Right. You know, like if you see the stuff that I eat, I go out, I hang out with my friends. I don't always have the healthiest eating habits, but most of the time I'm healthy. I take care of this. I take care of this. You know, it's important for me to do that. I'm getting older. I don't want to live the kind of lifestyle that my parents lived or that the rest of my family lives.
Yeah.
You know, I want to break that pattern.
Absolutely. And exactly what you're doing is we are building up that muscle memory. And when I say muscle memory, it's not like, oh, memory to sit down. No, it becomes embedded into us. And this is why we're bringing to everyone that everybody can do this. Whether you did this started 15 years ago or started today. As I heard the saying is that you can decide eating in between eating a bag of chips, that it's time to change your life. What I mean by that is now is that time. You may not even realize that there's things that need to be changed or adjusted. And that's why, again, Mary has her workbook that allows you to think deeper into your own thoughts, into your subconscious, that you may not even realize that you've been saying to yourself subliminally. I have my ebook that pours back into the love that you may have been, feeling guilty that you have been lacking. But the key is it's all about taking those immediate actionable steps.
Mm-hmm.
When you are in control of yourself, your surroundings follows. It really does. As I said to you, my daughter may not be as whatever, and she does follow a lot of the genes of her father's side, but I encourage her. I don't stop. Because I could be like, oh, what? No. I also celebrate herself and her body and the diversity. And it's all because I made that decision during the pandemic to get serious with Camille. When Camille got serious with Camille, I met amazing people such as Mary. I've been a part of communities that are just growing, that elevate me in so many different ways. And most importantly, is I'm getting a better and deeper understanding of myself. So when September comes and it comes back to getting back to that routine and integrating my lifestyle back into my lifestyle, it's like, it's like I never left. I don't know how those hip hoppers say it. I came back like I never left. I don't know. My son would be like, Mom,
True. Yeah.
but and I just wanted to shout out some of the people here in the comments that I wanted to. Melanie, I love that she was talking about how powerful sleeping is essential and how more productive she is just by having those moments on herself. Sandra, I celebrate you. I've seen you on LinkedIn just pounding the pavement in your wellness. And I'm so grateful to hear that you are now feeling in such a great space where you have taken that control back for your mental and your physical. I see you. Your work does not come unnoticed. I see all that you're doing. Lizette, I love that you talked about the surgery and total lifestyle change, and even the gastric bypass surgery. There's nothing wrong with that either. And it does help in so many different health areas. But there's other people that use it as a way, I can just do this and then I'll be fine. But if they don't love it and work into themselves, just as you said, Lizette, it's like, what's the point of it, right? So love into yourself, do the things that you need to do for your own body. But remember that incorporating it into your lifestyle is what builds up those habits, that builds up when you need to readjust that fitness. Like again, on my monthly, I'm doing squats up the stairs, and that's my workout. That's my workout. And I have no shame in my game anymore because I understand my body. Before I used to feel guilty, Mary, and I'd go to the gym and I would do some kind of vigorous work and my cycle would be horrible.
No need for that. Or resistance bands too. I actually have a podcast guest I interviewed already, where she talks about all the female things. Okay. So I can't wait to release that episode because we have to be more in tune with that and how we feel. Like now I'm like, okay, if this doesn't get done, I'm fine. I'm just going to go lie down because my body needs it right now. And then when I'm ready, I hit the ground running because I'm a beast. But every beast needs to lie down once in a while and rest. So
hey, that hibernation. Don't the beasts go and hibernate? And it's true. We've been programmed and conditioned that, this is a part of our monthly. We should just deal with it, gut it, and bear it, and be able to pound it through. But if you really understand the anatomy of a woman's body and what our body is going through during those times, let's love her. Let's respect her. And let's not give up on her either because of what we have been conditioned to be. And what Mary just said, tune into her podcast. Let's stop making a period, a menstrual cycle. I used to call her as a teenager, we used to call her Molly because we were so embarrassed of her. So we called her, instead of menstruation, we used to call her Molly. Let's take away thank you, Mary. She put the link for her podcast into the comments. But let's throw that off the table about being cliche about it or touche about it. And let's talk about it because there's wellness in understanding our hormones and our cycle. Okay, we're not psycho. It's actually just our cycle. Okay. As I told my husband, you actually have more mood swings than me, buddy. At least I know when mine are coming.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to live scared. You got to keep them on their toes.
That's it. That's what keeps that healthy relationship. And that's what we say here. So I'm not joking. But we are winding down. We're at 2 minutes left into our segment. Be sure to stay tuned with us next week because we are coming to you again with some more thought-provoking, wellness for the busy woman in business. Where, as Mary said, these are all stepping blocks that really flow with each other. So if you've missed any of the previous Wellness for the Busy Women wellness series, where we talked about mindset, nutrition, we talked about stress, managing our stress levels, all different things. Make sure to slide into either myself or Mary's messages. We'll be sure to give you the replays, or you can find it on some of our socials. But the easiest way is just to connect with us. Yeah. And most importantly, click the links that we have offered you in these videos and say that's your actionable step for your wellness today. Check. All right. So get that check mark going, and we'll see you next week. Same place, same time, every Tuesdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's do this. Anything else you want to say? I always go this way.
I don't know which way it is, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Just let us know if you have any questions that maybe you didn't want to ask publicly. You can always message us directly. And with some of you who know me, that I I love answering questions. So just Camille is the same way. We are very giving and we are very patient. So just pop into those DMs and let us know how you're doing.
Awesome sauce. And until next time, all I know is, Lizette, I just saw a note here saying that if I don't exercise, my menopause symptoms return. You know what? That is a great way for us to keep us motivated to go to the gym. If I know that, hey, to avoid these ones, get in the gym. Yeah. So until next week, everyone, can't wait. We have a great new topic. So stay tuned.
Mhm.
Until
Bye.
bye.